Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time for Chit Chat Across the Pond. This is episode number 821 for September 17th, 2025. And I'm your host, Allison Sheridan. This week, our guest is a real throwback for the show. If you've been listening for a very long time, you may remember this guest as creating the best Honda Bob commercial of all time, where he performed it as a Klingon war commander. He's the man who coined the term for his own podcast, Making Technology Work for You. He's brilliant. He's funny. He is, as my father used to say, drilled off center. Please welcome back to the show after close to a decade-long absence, maybe 15 years, we're not sure, the one, the only, Nightwise.
This is an introduction I cannot top, but I am definitely drilled slightly off-center. So thank you for having me, Allison. It's great to be here again.
I thought you'd appreciate that. My dad had several funny sayings like that where he was just... Don't know where they came
drilled
from.
Off center. I want that. Yeah, I'm definitely,
Getting
drilled off center.
that printed on a shirt as we speak, right?
Yes. It's not me. I'm drilled off center.
Well, Nightwise and I have stayed in contact over the years, sending texts back and forth here and there. And this week he sent me a message asking for help finding a way to force macOS into letting his client view his MacBook Air's desktop, not speaker notes, but while giving a presentation. I dug around testing some ideas, and I did not succeed in helping him. But when he figured out a solution, he suggested coming on the show to tell us about the kind of creative solutions he comes up with for his clients. So maybe we should start with, what do you mean clients? What is it you do for a living these days?
Well, as I have to explain to like my mom or my grandma, what do you do?
I basically don't do that again.
I tell stories. I tell stories for a living. My wife and I run a digital marketing agency where we help companies tell the things online their customers want to hear. And that means any kind of digital storytelling that can be communication support for corporate communication, that can be doing social media support, that can be making podcasts for a living, finally.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm doing 3 at the moment, paid. So that's nice.
Nice.
And one of them is giving trainings where I help customers bring their videos to life. So I had one of my customers who is a brilliant medical professor, who is literally one of the smartest people that I know, ask me, he said, Nightwise, I want to be on camera. I want to record small videos on LinkedIn and make press statements. And I've got a little presentation going there. So I want you to help me succeed in that. And the problems we solved is that these are people that don't have time, as opposed to YouTubers and influencers who do this for core living. This guy wanted to sit in his office, turn on his camera, turn on his microphone, turn on his computer, do a skit of about 3 minutes with slides and everything, make sure it's completely branded, make sure it has the logos, has lower thirds, everything he wants, and then be able to push 3 buttons and send it to his communication guy in Brussels, who then puts it on the air. And if it's really interesting, it gets on national news. So that was the problem to be solved.
But this isn't what he does for a living. So he doesn't want to learn how to do any of this. He wants to do what he's good at it, and then you do the part you're good at.
And we have to do the part, we have to give him a solution that does the part for him. So we're not there. This was basically a setup of a studio, which we have to let him operate completely autonomously. And yeah, he doesn't want to learn the ins and outs. He's very smart. He knows, he actually knows what I'm doing. So that's a relief.
He knows what you're doing.
Yeah, mostly it's like...
he understands it, but he doesn't want to do it or learn how to do it.
Yes. He goes like, this is fine. Can we have a button for that? And can we have a button for that? And what if we write a button for that? So he's really knowledgeable, but he wants to have it just work for him. His studio has to be an appliance. That's
Wait, are you saying he wants technology to work for him?
Maybe he does. And I still use, especially in our company, I still use that line day to day when I talk about digital technology, webcams, social media, what have you. it always comes back to that. It has to work for them.
Yeah, you're the most technology agnostic person I know. If Windows is the right solution, you're going to use it. If Linux is the right solution, if macOS is the right solution, if Android, if it's macOS, whatever it is, it's a Raspberry Pi, whatever. You don't seem to have a religious attachment. Well, maybe to Linux, but it's not. You're not monogamous.
No, I'm a polyamorous, technologist. Yeah. If it's a brick on a stick, I'll use it. I mean, it's fine. I don't have. I have to say, and this is mostly thanks to you, that when it comes to the corporate stuff that we do, the everyday stuff that we do for a company, it's Mac all the way.
Okay.
My wife's a photographer, and just because of the joy of the ecosystem, it's Mac all the way. Back end is Linux, file servers, anything running AI locally, video converters is Linux. And Windows is really starting to go back because take a step back because I'm not working for big corporations anymore.
Okay, although so you're not having to integrate with their big systems or anything.
Yeah, but I do have to use stuff like PowerPoint, which I despise. Yes,
I don't know. I personally don't think that Keynote's that much better. I think they're both an abomination to communication, personally.
Yeah. I give speaker training on how to make slides that don't put people to sleep or in a coma, or make them pass the exam to become an airline pilot with really small print.
We should have a whole conversation about that, because I just did a presentation for MacStock where I set the goal of having no words on any of my charts. And the only chart that had words on it was to show you how stupid it was. It was to illustrate a point of don't do this.
I love it when, there goes my camera. I love it when I get a call from, let's say, a customer of ours who asks, can we have your slides? And I just send them like 85 slides with just images, because that's how I do a talk. The slides are the background and I am the main character. Because if what's written on your slide is in your presentation, one of you is
redundant.
Yeah. And only one of you can be shoved into an email attachment. So go figure.
I love it. Okay, so the particular problem we were playing with here was whether it's Keynote or PowerPoint, doesn't matter. When you go into presentation mode, your external display will show the presentation and your internal display shows the speaker notes. But if you have a MacBook Air, you can only support one external display, which means you can't have a display showing you your desktop where you're looking at something else. Maybe you have other materials you need to be looking at. And I understand there's a way to add a capture card and some things and there is a way to add a second display, external display to a MacBook Air, and maybe the newer ones can natively. But anyway, this particular MacBook Air could only support one internal, one external. So how did you end up solving that?
Well, I'll iterate the why. What the classic presentation, when you have to start presentation, that is to me what I call presenting in the blind. Because you might be able to see your speaker notes and you might be able to see your screen, but you don't see what's going on. Now, a lot of stuff that we do when we work with presenters doing presentations is that we capture them on a live stream.
Okay.
So, or we present our own material or stuff like that. So we always need to see that screen. Now, in the case of this customer, of the professor, as I shall call him, we were working with OBS.
And tell people what OBS is in case they don't know.
If you're not married, consider engaging yourself, buying a big ring and trying to marry OBS. OBS is a software solution. It's free, it's open source, and it's basically the closest that you can come to making television on your own. It is a magnificent piece of software that has gotten me through Corona, that has helped me broadcast live speakers from 4 different countries over a connection, over an internet connection, adding in live speakers in the room, audio from audiences, videos, complete television productions run from your computer. What it basically does is think of it as PowerPoint, but with video.
Wait, so I hate it?
Yeah.
Is where you want me to start?
No, but think of it as a presentation software, but with video. You can put in different scenes with different video sources, and you can add graphics in front of it or on the back of it. So, like the morning show, and then this little bar comes on with the guy's name and stuff. And this little nice widget in like that would say pod feed in the lower upper corner. That's all of that you can add into either a recording or a live stream. And this is what the professor is using. He's basically using different scenes to make his presentations more interesting. And that's why he needs OBS.
Okay, so there's other paid-for tools that do what you're describing, but OBS is free and open source, which is kind of where your starting point is there. You have to prove to me that I can't do this with an open source solution before going to something paid. Would that be a good way to describe it?
Yes, and I have to say I've been pushing the edges of OBS for about 5 years now, and I haven't reached them yet.
Wow.
I've talked to colleagues of mine who had expensive mixing studios and saw me come in with my little laptop and a couple of webcams, and they went like, and then they saw me open up and they went like, we can't do that. I said, yes, OBS can.
Interesting.
So to tell you why he uses this, he captures his presentation slides and he captures his webcam.
Sure.
But instead of putting them in this 80-20, he in the little square and the presentation's big, he can put them 50-50 with his nice logo on the back and nice brands, and he can switch to 80-40, and he can switch to full screen.
That's a new one.
Yeah, 80-20,
60-40.
80-20, 60-40.
You can get more than 100% with OBS.
The interesting part why we do this is to keep your audience awake. If they have to stare at the same slide for 3 minutes straight, they're bored. So what you do is you switch up the scenes. You switch up the aspect ratio and you put some nice colors around it and you make it really like television. And by switching around, you keep your audience entertained. And that's why he uses OBS. And that's why he needs to see what OBS is actually recording for him.
Okay.
And that was a problem.
So like I said, there are tools that can do this, but with OBS, it's nice. I do free, which is awesome and sounds highly capable.
And cross-platform.
On cross-platform, there you go.
Absolutely. On Silicon Mac.
Oh, okay. So
Intel Mac, Silicon Mac, everywhere.
Wait, until Apple Silicon, it was everywhere?
Everywhere. It's native on Silicon. It's Intel Mac for the ones that are still there. It's on Windows. It's on Linux. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So he needs to be able to see OBS while he's doing this. And
there's the kicker.
Doing a presentation, once you're in presentation mode, you're screwed. You can't look at it. Okay.
Ta-da. Yeah. So he's presenting in the blind. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Right.
So it's like, and we can't add a third monitor because he has a MacBook Air.
Right.
So we needed to add a monitor to show a presentation that he doesn't want to see.
Well, because if he can see it on OBS, so he knows where he is.
So we needed to create a third monitor that Apple didn't allow us to hook up and that physically didn't exist, but we did need to capture the output of that monitor and put it back into OBS. So it's a scene again.
And one of the things I thought might work was I've talked to my audience about the HDMI virtual display plugs. Just a little it looks like a USB thumb drive, but it's an HDMI thing, and you stick it in and it gives you a virtual display. And I thought, okay, well, what if he had the presentation go there and then as an extended desktop, it goes to this fake display and then he could do everything. But it's a display. And the MacBook Air goes, nope, you've used up your external displays. You're done.
No. Yes.
I was like, well, of course, that didn't work. And then
because I dragged in everything. I brought in a USB display. Didn't want. I want an HDMI display. Nothing. We tried. It works. It's just like one external display. That's it. So that was the challenge to actually display a full screen display or capture a full screen display that wasn't there.
Right. Virtual or not, it has to be literally not connected to this machine.
Literally non-existent. So because
I feel like NDI is going to come into this topic at some point.
No,
Okay.
no. We had to just, there is a solution. Because by now people who use PowerPoint are screaming, you can present in windowed mode. Yes, you can. You can tell PowerPoint not to present full screen, but present the slides in a framed window.
That looks terrible.
It does, and it's unkind words. It's a blur if you need to do it.
Abomination.
Abomination. Yeah, that's a B word as well. It's an abomination when you have to do it, because when the customer should resize that window and you're capturing that window on a certain resolution, OBS is going to display it all out of whack.
Sure.
Because you tell OBS, capture this display or capture this window at this resolution. So
can you have it capture an area? So like capture, like you don't want to see the chrome around the window, right? You just want to see the presentation.
Yes.
Okay.
You capture the window, and then in OBS, you just, cross out the bars.
So
you
super
crop out
fiddly.
the bars. It's surprisingly easy to use, but once the resolution of that window changes, it's all out of whack in OBS. So
okay.
Again,
so you have to set it up
stable.
again every time you do it.
Yeah. And I'm not getting, this guy records at 3:30 in the morning. Because
you don't want that
when
call.
My brain works. I don't want that call.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I wanted something really stable. So I went like, let freaking PowerPoint do its thing. Just send it to a display that doesn't exist, and then tell OBS to go fetch that display and paste it into the mix.
So how do you get it to talk to a display that doesn't exist? What do you tell it?
You tell it to capture a display. The only thing you need to do is trick your Mac into having a third display.
And how do you do that?
Better Display Tool.
Oh.
Better Display Tool is the solution. It's a free. I am one stingy bloke. It's on the App Store. It's free, and it allows you more control over your monitors. You can set different resolutions. You can adjust brightness of external displays separately from those of your main display. So if you crank up the light on the main display, the external display doesn't blind you, so you can control the brightness on external displays and the internal separately.
Hang on, I'm not finding Better Display Tool in the Mac App Store. So let's make sure we get the name of it right.
No.
Or is it only available in Europe?
No.
Or it's all one word?
Oh, God, that would be so me that I would actually forget the name of the application that I want to talk about. Better Display. That's the name. It's also available on the Mac App Store. Better Display Pro.
Better Display Pro. Let's see. Nope.
And
Better
then
Display. How about no Pro? Display menu? Are you hallucinating again?
It says here, download the Mac. Oh, sorry. I have. It's not on the App Store, so
it's on GitHub.
It's on GitHub.
Even
of course,
better
because it's free. It's free and open source.
Way dabber. Better Display.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes. Sorry, it's not on the. I was thinking of different application.
And Better Display is one word for those who are playing along with our home game.
Yes. Sorry to send you on a wild goose chase there, but it's free. It's available on GitHub. It's open source actually, and it's absolutely brilliant. So it has these fancy features to make your external displays do funky things, which I like because I've got one of those square-ish LG displays, the ones that are I really love them, but I have to set my resolution a little lower because otherwise I can't see. I'm starting to age gently.
I was talking, Nightwise has always kidded me about being older than him, and I was telling him that he is now the age now that I was when we last met. So I love it. Yes. I love it.
So for my 50th birthday, I've downgraded myself one step of scaling. So I went up from 125 to 150.
Okay.
In scaling on but I went like, really? So Better Display 2 does this. That's why I used it. And then suddenly I saw this feature that says add virtual display. And there you go.
So you can just tell it there's a display. Yeah. I'm going to try to do this while we're recording, right?
Of course. You'll just, send everything out of whack, but you won't be able to disturb the space-time continuum. That's be fine. And sure, mess with the core kernel of macOS as you're doing a recording. It wouldn't be fun otherwise.
Right. Now I'm gonna give Waydabber a downward thumb for one thing. The reason you thought it was in the Mac App Store is that they have used the graphic for the Mac App Store.
Yes.
So they are being very misleading. That's actually the download button, and I'm not fond of that.
Yes, it was not. That's my mistake. That's why I thought it was there.
Right.
And when I clicked it, I saw it was, there it is again. So yeah. So that's the but
that's okay. I can because it's in GitHub, I can file an enhancement request.
Yes. Use the right button. Do not use misleading advertising.
Right. Okay. So you tell it to create a display and it just makes one up. Do you get to name it whatever you want?
Yep, it makes one up. You can even give it arrange it in your
of course you'd have
system
to.
Preferences.
It displays. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Do you have to turn off any security stuff to use this thing?
I think that it does ask for the security settings, but I think it really it not a lot.
No, but it doesn't ask you to downgrade in that I forget what it's called, that thing where you have to boot into safe mode or into
no, just go right ahead.
Okay.
No. It just
I'm sure it asks for permissions. It looks like it's in active development too, because their screenshots are showing liquid glass.
Yes. This is the third upgrade that I've already done on the machines that I have it running on.
Nice.
And then the next part's easy. You just go to PowerPoint and you go to the settings and you say like, hey, that fancy display where you want to put those slides. Yeah, that's the virtual display. So it pumps out the slides in presentation mode to a display that doesn't exist. And then you just tell OBS, by the way, the slides are over here. And then boom, it works.
So then on his MacBook Air, he's still seeing the speaker notes, but he can have a physical secondary display where he can see OBS?
OBS. Yes. Oh, and because the speaker notes are enough, it's I have taught this man not to put too many words on a slide, although he is from the medical profession and those guys are really hard to
train,
to persuade. Yeah. I told him, I said, like, you have anesthesiologist. The guys that put people to sleep.
Anesthesiologist?
Yeah, you don't need these slides. You have anesthesiologists. And then he laughed and then he changed and then he started listening to me. So
there's a book you can send him, The Presentation Secrets of Steve Jobs. That's where I learned it. Because that's what Steve Jobs would do. He would put a single graphic up and nobody could argue that he was a great presenter.
And he had black backgrounds and white letters. So the audience wasn't blind.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I call this interrogation slides. So just, put a white light on them, small print, and ask if they're tired after 50 minutes.
I am going to give you a hot tip, though, on screen brightness. The higher the brightness of your screen, the smaller your pupils become. And when your pupils become smaller, ask your wife about photography, you get a deeper depth of field. So it's easier to focus on a bright screen than it is on a dark screen.
Oh.
May give you a headache, but, I don't, depending.
That's okay.
I know it bothers some people, and I'm not saying you should do it if it bothers you, but it does. That's the way I found out I was losing my close vision was I couldn't see at work. And I realized when I got home, I've got Apple displays, which are super bright. And I had this hideous HP laptop that was super dim. And that's why I couldn't see, because my pupils weren't contracting. So I rotated my desk so I was facing the window instead. And then my pupils contracted and I was able to see better.
That's brilliant.
Old people hack.
Yeah. All right. I have to remember that one. The reason that we use dark letters, we try to use dark backgrounds and small letters is because most of the presentations that we give are online. And then it's fatiguing if you have to look at it a long time, especially when, it's like the same words every time. And you can, brand it, and why not use your company colors if they're not like, I don't know, fuchsia green or something. You can make it nice. And I regularly use the famous Steve Jobs slide, him standing in a dark
turtleneck,
his dark shirt and his dark turtleneck in front of a black background and white letters. And for the longest time, I said the only thing he shouldn't have worn is a dark turtleneck, but actually he did, because then his head would stick out,
would pop,
and he would pop out, and he would take up as little attention as possible and have a maximum focus on what's on the screen. It was a brilliant man.
Well, that's what I'm wondering about. Talking heads on a slide are sometimes distracting. They do keep me awake. So you are achieving that objective, but a lot of times I'm like, well, you're not really adding anything by me seeing your face.
And that's the thing why we switch it around. Then we go to like slides big and the speaker small. What I mostly do when I do live directing, I control OBS real time, just like my client does, is like when you start on the slide, you show it 80-20, slide big, speaker small.
Mm-hmm.
And then, after 30 seconds, everybody's kind of read what's there. We go 50-50. So the speaker is like the same size, and it becomes more interesting.
Because at that point, you don't need to read the slides at all.
There you go.
Let's look at the person who's gesticulating with excitement about anesthesiology.
Yeah, and then he starts getting angry or excited or I don't know, and he wants to make a point. And then I pull the slide back to 20%. I put the speaker on 80%.
So is he doing that as he's given the presentation?
He's doing that live as he's giving the presentation. I'll show.
This guy's a multiplexer.
No. This guy has the right technology. I have given him an Elgato Stream Deck.
Okay. I'm looking at mine right here.
Oh, yeah, because an Elgato Stream Deck can be perfectly paired with OBS.
Okay.
So all the 3 scenes that he uses are on his Elgato Stream Deck, and he knows it by touch. This is full screen. This is 80-20. This is 50-50. So, when he's talking, he just goes like, yeah, you've seen the slide, 50-50, blah, 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 80-20, blah, 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 main full screen. So
but he's got to be doing that in his head at the same time that he's conveying all this information. That's why I was talking about him being a multiplexer, that he's doing the switching at the same time. Huh.
Yep, yep. And we also put 2 buttons there to advance and go back a slide, also on his Stream Deck. So he has one hand on his Stream Deck, which is off center, and he has 3 buttons for his scenes and 2 buttons for next slide, previous slide, and that way with just one hand, he can control the entire show.
Nice.
And
this gets me into thinking about what else OBS can do. Steve and I do my live show using StreamYard, and we're too cheap to pay for it, so we're using the free version, and you've got some limited scenes you can do. So Steve does a big screen, say, of maybe Hindenburg while I'm doing my audio recording. And yes, my digital audio recording software is named after a ship that blew up. An airship that blew up. There's a reason for that. But then he'll have like a little picture of me and him next to it, or it'll be the chat room with me and him, or I'm talking, it's just me. And so he flips between those two, but he's really restricted to the scenes that are created in StreamYard. Can you take something like OBS? Could he run that locally on his Mac, take my video input somehow? I'm sure NDI would be involved. By the way, audience, I keep saying NDI. For the life of me, I don't know what it is. I think it's a protocol, a video protocol. That's all I know.
Yes.
And it allows you to send things on the same network, video on the same network. Is that a good description?
Yes. It's like the best description that I once got was a digital HDMI cable.
Okay. So it's as though I have an HDMI cable from my from my computer into his, or...
Yep. Over the network.
Over the network. It's local area network.
UDP. Get me back on the show and I shall disclose you the secrets of Video Ninja, and then I'll completely blow your mind.
Ooh, yeah. Hey, I'd have
Yes,
you on
yes.
every week if I could. You know that.
But these are all things that we found out during Corona, where we were doing live streams and presentations and talks, and we got more and more requests like, we need this, we need that. So I started out with like simple scenes. The biggest production that I did was 82 different scenes, where I have a scene where there's a stinger video. I have a scene where there's a remote speaker who is on Curacao and the local speaker in the room side by side. Then I would put in a third element on that. It's like, it's like a PowerPoint slide, basically, or Keynote slide. You can just put stuff on and in front of, behind each other. So you can really do exciting things with it. You can build as many scenes as you want. You can get a whole lot of sources in there. You can put cameras in there. By the way, the camera that this person uses, the professor, is his iPhone.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. He does use an external microphone, which is plugged in as a USB source. So you can put that in. You can put external sources in, NDI. You can capture a web page in real time. Put that in. You can, there's also the crazy stuff that you can put in there. And then you can record it. You can record it in audio. You can record it in video. You can record multi-stream audio if you want to. So like, record speaker on track 1 and record yourself on track 2. And then you can either record it locally, use it, here comes the crazy part, use it as a virtual webcam. So your entire spiel gets sent back in.
Now we're in a whole other space-time continuum, right?
Yeah.
So you can shove it back into like a StreamYard?
Oh, this is so fun. You can shove it into like, it becomes a virtual webcam. So you can shove it into StreamYard. You can shove it into Discord. You can shove it into Slack and have all of your fancy scenes on there. So imagine my fun during Corona when everybody was like just happy to have his, I'm on camera, I'm fine. And I had like animations and lower thirds and branded stuff. And people were like, how do you do that? And I was like, that's my secret. So yeah.
Pay me, I'll tell you. Of
course, yeah, you can use it to stream. So
this is a hill I have climbed many, 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 many times over the decades that OBS has been around. And I try it and I get all excited and then I can't figure it out and I give up. That's been my the logo's the same, maybe fancier than it used to be. Maybe it's easier to understand, or maybe there's more videos out there to teach me how to use it. But I keep wondering when is going to be the time that I actually get it.
Think of OBS as sources, which are input sources, which are the ingredients of your recipe.
Mm-hmm.
And every scene is a new combination of your sources. And you walk through different scenes to make different combinations of audio and video that you want to show. And in the end, that comes out of OBS. That
makes sense.
The basic logic. Yeah.
And I have used tools like that before. But we got into this thing where, the tool we were using was really complicated. I think I still have in my drawer here. I kept it for posterity. I've got like a 70-page document where I screenshotted everything so that whenever anything went wrong, I could flip it open and I'd sit there live on the show going, okay, there it is. It's step 38B is where I need to change this to that and get it to work again. So we got kind of weary of the fiddly bits. And now we don't have the flexibility anymore, but it's real uncomplicated. Steve has 3 buttons and he doesn't like the layout of any of them, but they're consistent. He doesn't have to do any work, but.
And that's it. I mean, I come back to my to my anthem, let technology work for you, especially when it comes down to business situations where either people don't have the time or we're doing it in a production environment. I'm doing a webinar where I have 5 speakers on the Caribbean and 8 speakers in Rotterdam, and I've got people in the room. So I have to take care of amplification, and I've got like 6 microphones and 4 webcams going in, and the people in the Caribbean are notoriously late and laid back.
They're all and hang loose, dude.
Yeah, man, tomorrow. So I mix all that together in OBS, and I send it out to a live stream. So it has to work and it has to be simple, but it's an amazing approach. The downside when you hit YouTube, when you hit the research channels, they all make it extremely complicated because they want to see all of the functionalities. You just have to, making it complicated is easy. Making it easy, that's the challenge.
That's the trick, right?
That's the trick.
Well, that's inspiring to want to do that again. Are there any other cool, tricky things you want to tell us that you've been doing?
I gotta think. What crazy stuff have we been up to? On a weekly basis, this is not done with OBS because we do it in post. On a monthly basis, we record about 3 podcasts where we have a 3 or 4 camera setup. Got guests and me as a moderator, and my wife does either the live mix of between the different cameras, or we just pull it what we call in post, where we just pull in all of the sources and let AI do its thing.
Really?
Yes.
What video editing tool is she using?
DaVinci Resolve.
Oh, okay. There you go.
That's it took me a while to learn, but just to give you an idea where the real power of AI lies when it comes to working professionally with it. When I got in a recording that was not cut, so that was not cut live. So I got 3 camera tracks, I've got speakers, and it's an hour-long conversation. I did the cutting between camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2. I did that live.
Mm-hmm.
So I counted it, and it was 723 switches to keep it interesting.
Okay. How boring was it that it required 700 switches to keep it interesting?
Basically, you've got 3 speakers on a
so you're switching between the people? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're switching between the people. So 722 switches. It took me 3.5 hours. Now I just let DaVinci Resolve take a look at whose mouth is moving, and that's where you have to point the camera. Go AI, and it takes 20 minutes.
Wow.
It's incredible.
Am I right in remembering DaVinci Resolve is from Blackmagic Design, and there's a free version?
There is a free version. Some of the AI tools are in there. I purchased the professional version. I paid €300. I've got one of these little fancy jog dial mixers that make me feel like, your uncle's video recording geek back in the days. And I only paid once, just like Final Cut, and it's a magnificent piece of software.
Very cool.
But with the free version, you can do a lot. And if you are using an M4 iPad, and you really want to put that thing through its paces, the version that you buy or that you get for free on the M4 iPads is, when you tweak it, one-on-one the professional version you've got on the Mac.
Really?
Yes, they just disabled a lot of the menus to keep it simple, but it's an incredible. But
it can do everything that you can on the Mac.
If this thing hits, if iOS 26 hits, this is the first thing that I'm trying. I'm going to try a production on my iPad Pro.
From the iPad. Now, it has to be the M4 or?
No, it doesn't have to be the M4. It has to be an M, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you bought that fancy M4 and it basically is idling all day and you actually do something. DaVinci Resolve was the first thing that I really put through its paces. And it's not like video editing because you're insane, but because it actually kind of works.
Oh, okay. Well, that's got to be the most interesting thing there too. Well, this has been really fun, Nightwise, and I knew it would be, and I knew it would be fun to hear what kind of nutty things you're doing. If people wanted to know more about what you do, is there some online presence way that they should look for you?
I shall disclose my secret identity if they need to do that.
Ooh, there we go. His name is not Nightwise.
No. And every time I say my real name, every geeky friend I have goes like, that's wrong. We can't call.
I know what it is. I will never be able to call you it. It just doesn't sound right.
So for the geeky stuff, when I have the time, I try to do stuff on Nightwise.com. That's KNIGHTWISE.com. I try to do a new podcast once in a while. I try to write once in a while, but I get swamped by life. And that's the downside of turning your hobby into your profession, is that your hobby is just one more project that you don't get paid for. So you kind of, schedule that. And for my professional parts, I am the co-owner of The Rangers, and that's spelled in Flemish. So it's DE Rangers.be. You can
BE,
find
as in Belgium.
BE, Belgium, de Rangers.be. So The Rangers, but then in Dutch. We do, you can find the crazy stuff I do there on LinkedIn. So you have to Google Joe Hendricks, which I know doesn't sound right.
Joe Hendricks on LinkedIn. Oh, I thought it was Yo.
Yo. Yeah, but Americans go really crazy. Go like, what? Yo? Yeah. So it's J-O Hendricks, Hendriks. And then you see the crazy stuff that I do over there.
Wait, there's no C?
There is no C.
Look at that.
I don't sound like a burning circuit board. And there's like a CKXS. No, it's just KS. So it's
One of the fun things about Nightwise that the audience may not know is he's translating through like 8 languages in his head right now, from Dutch, Flemish. Wait, those aren't the same thing, right?
Those are not the same.
And English, and I think you've got French in there, maybe a little German.
French and German. Yeah. So I always have to, especially these days, American English and English, where I really have to, you don't have glasses on, you have eyeglasses.
Oh.
You don't have a wastebasket, you have a paper wastebasket. So I have to pick the right words.
Well, Bart always says bin.
Yeah, but he's a paper wastebasket.
Well, why don't you
say eyeglasses? Yeah, because you can't. You should the need occur to put them anywhere else. It's easy to say, "Oh yeah, eyeglasses." Yeah,
right. Not the glass for your gin or your bourbon. It's totally different kind of glasses, right? Why don't you sign off in the language of your choice, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Oh damn, that's gonna be hard. I'll put on. You've got like 5 Belgian listeners anyway, so they can do that. I'll do my outro in Dutch.
Okay, sounds good.
Let me try. I'm at radio voice here. Laat technologie voor jou werken in plaats van andersom. Luister naar podfeed.com. Een podcast met een klein beetje voorliefde voor de Mac. So that's your stuff that's your closing scene in Dutch.
I love it. Well, talk to you again soon. This was fantastic. I would love to have you back.
It is a pleasure to be here, and I'm always ready to come on if you need me.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Chit Chat Across the Pond. Did you notice there weren't any ads in the show? That's because this show is not ad-supported. It's supported by you. If you learned something, or maybe you were just entertained, consider contributing to the Podfeed podcast. You can do that by going over to podfeed.com and look for the big red button that says Support the Show. When you click that button, you're going to find different ways to contribute. You can donate one time through the big Donate button with a credit card or Apple Pay, or you can use PayPal. If you want to make a recurring contribution, click the Patreon button. Keep in mind, I don't charge Patreon for Chit Chat Across the Pond or Programming by Stealth episodes, just once a month for the NosillaCast. That keeps it simple. If you want to contact me for any reason, you can email me at allison@podfeed.com, and you can follow me on Mastodon at podfeed.com/Mastodon. Maybe you want to talk to other NosillaCastaways? You can do that in our Slack group at podfeed.com/Slack. Thanks for listening, and stay subscribed.